Welcome to another episode of Spelling Bee Ninja. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of English grammar, exploring a particular tense that helps us convey actions in a detailed and nuanced way, the past perfect continuous tense. This tense is a powerful tool for expressing actions that were ongoing before another specific time in the past. So, get ready to enhance your understanding of English and improve your communication skills as we unravel the past perfect continuous tense. Let's begin by defining what the past perfect continuous tense is all about. This tense emphasizes actions that were ongoing over a certain duration before another event or action occurred in the past. It gives us a sense of continuity and helps us paint a clearer picture of situations. For example, consider the sentence, "She had been studying for hours before the exam started." Here, the action of studying took place for a significant period before the exam began, showcasing its ongoing nature. Now, let's look at the structure of the past perfect continuous tense, which is formed using the following components: the subject, followed by had, then been, and finally the verb in the ing form. You might hear something like this: "I had been working on the project for 3 weeks." In this sentence, we understand that the action of working was ongoing and lasted 3 weeks. Let's break it down into affirmative, negative, and question forms to gain a clearer understanding. In the affirmative form, you might say, "They had been playing soccer for an hour before it started raining." When forming the negative, you can say, "I had not been feeling well before the meeting began." And if you want to ask questions, you can say, "Had you been waiting long before the train arrived?" This structure allows us to express our thoughts effectively and with clarity. So why do we use the past perfect continuous tense? One of its key uses is to describe an ongoing action that was happening before another action in the past. For instance, he had been waiting for the bus for 30 minutes when it finally arrived. We see that he was engaged in the action of waiting for quite some time before the bus showed up. It's also useful for expressing the cause of a past condition or result. For instance, if we say, "He was tired because he had been running all morning," we can see how the ongoing action directly leads to the state of being tired. Another vital use of this tense is talking about actions with time durations, highlighting how long something continued before moving on to another event. For example, "We had been studying for 3 hours before we took a break." It gives context to how long the studying occurred prior to the break. Now, let's add clarity by discussing some common time expressions that pair well with this tense. Words like for, since, and before can indicate duration or specific starting points. For example, you might hear, "She had been waiting for the call since morning." The word since highlights the starting point of the waiting action. Similarly, "He had been playing video games for hours before his parents asked him to stop." Uses for to indicate how long he was engaged in that activity. This brings us to compare the past perfect continuous with other tenses. The past perfect tense focuses on the completion of an action, while the past perfect continuous emphasizes the duration. For instance, while you could say, "He had finished the book before the meeting," the past perfect continuous allows for a different perspective. "He had been reading the book for 2 hours before the meeting." This nuance is essential in portraying precise meanings during communication. Let's also compare the past continuous with the past perfect continuous. The past continuous describes an action that was happening at a specific moment in the past, like they were discussing the problem at 8 p.m. In contrast, the past perfect continuous emphasizes a duration before another point, as in they had been discussing the problem for an hour before they found a solution. Now, let's put this into context with a couple of real-life scenarios. You might say, "She had been baking all morning, so the kitchen smelled amazing." Here, we see an ongoing action improving the atmosphere of the setting. Another example, "By the time the storm ended, the villagers had been seeking shelter in caves for hours." Storytelling like this can make your narrative more engaging. As a next step in mastering the past perfect continuous tense, consider using timelines to visualize actions over specific durations. Practicing with timelines can help solidify where certain actions fit in relation to others. Pay attention to those time markers. Words like for, since, and before are pivotal in determining if this tense fits your sentences. Relating the tense to real-life scenarios can also enhance your understanding. Think about situations such as waiting in line or preparing for an event that took considerable time. Lastly, remember to compare the tense with similar structures, like the past perfect and past continuous, to help solidify your grasp of the differences. However, it's essential to keep in mind several common mistakes and how to avoid them. One common error is confusing the past perfect continuous with the present perfect continuous. For instance, saying she has been practicing before the game started is incorrect. The right phrase is she had been practicing before the game started, as we are discussing a past moment. Another mistake is omitting had in the structure. Instead of saying, he'd been working on the project for days, remember to include the had. It should be, he had been working on the project for days. Lastly, some students mistakenly use simple past tense instead of the past perfect continuous, saying, I worked on the assignment for hours before I submitted it. The correct structure adds the continuity. I had been working on the assignment for hours before I submitted it. All these aspects together weave into a comprehensive understanding of the past perfect continuous tense. To wrap up, the past perfect continuous tense is an essential element of English grammar that describes ongoing actions that occurred before another action in the past. We explored its structure, uses, and common time expressions, and how to distinguish it from other tenses. Remember, use this tense to convey clear timelines and add depth to your sentences. Mastering this tense enhances your communication, making it more engaging and accurately reflective of experiences. Thank you for joining us in today's exploration of the past perfect continuous tense on Spelling Bee Ninja. We hope you now have a clearer understanding of this crucial grammatical structure. Keep practicing, and soon you'll be using the past perfect continuous tense with confidence. Don't forget to tune in next time for more lessons that can help you become a master communicator in English. Until then, happy learning!